Mark Wahlberg, known for his tough guy roles and newfound commitment to faith, was invited on The View to promote his latest film Redeemed Ground, a personal project inspired by his own journey of redemption. Dressed in a sharp gray suit with his signature confident swagger, Mark took his seat between Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin as the audience gave a warm round of applause. But seated directly across from him was Joy Behar, and the temperature in the studio dropped a few degrees the moment their eyes met. The segment began smoothly enough. Whoopi welcomed him with her usual laid-back charm. "We've got the one and only Mark Wahlberg here with us today," she said, smiling. "And he's got a powerful new film about faith, forgiveness, and second chances." Mark smiled politely. "Thanks, Whoopi. It's a film that means a lot to me." But Joy Behar, leaning on the edge of her seat, had her cards ready to play. "So Mark," Joy said, brushing back her signature red hair. "You've been pretty vocal about your faith lately. Daily mass, prayers before filming. Do you really believe that kind of messaging belongs front and center in Hollywood?" The crowd quieted. Mark kept his cool. "I do," he replied. "Because it's not messaging, it's a way of life. I've made a lot of mistakes, and faith helped turn my life around. This film is about giving people hope. That's something everyone can use." Joy's eyebrow arched. "But don't you think that kind of story risks alienating people who don't believe what you do? Isn't it exclusionary?" Mark's smile faded just a bit. "No, I think it's inclusive. The message is universal: redemption, family, second chances. You don't need to believe exactly what I do to understand the heart of it." Joy tilted her head. "I just find it interesting that someone who made his career off boogie nights and underwear ads is now preaching from the pulpit." Laughter rippled through the audience, but it was awkward, unsure. Mark sat up straighter. "I'm not preaching. I'm sharing what's real for me. Yeah, I've done some wild things in the past. I own that, but people change. They grow. Shouldn't we celebrate that instead of mock it?" Joy didn't flinch. "You're a public figure, Mark. When you start mixing religion with celebrity, you blur the lines. People look up to you, and maybe not all of them want a sermon with their entertainment." He gave a small shake of his head, restraining the edge in his voice. "This isn't a sermon, Joy. It's a story. Just like every movie out there, except this one aims to lift people up instead of tear them down." Sunny Hostin tried to interject. "There's something to be said for finding inspiration in art." But Joy wasn't done. "Inspiration is one thing, but faith is a brand. That's a different story. Let's not pretend your movie isn't perfectly timed for a certain crowd." That did it. Mark leaned forward, voice firm but steady. "Look, I didn't come here to debate religion. I came to talk about a film that helped me heal. If that's too much for you, fine. But don't dismiss millions of people out there just because you don't see the value in it." The crowd murmured. Joy's face flushed. "You're being overly sensitive," she snapped. "This is The View. We question everything here, and I'm giving you my view," he fired back. "But maybe this show's only open to views that match yours." A gasp. Producers behind the cameras started waving frantically, signaling to cut. Whoopi tried to cut in, too late. Mark stood up. "I think we're done here." He removed his mic, set it gently on the table, and walked off stage. The audience didn't know whether to clap, boo, or gasp louder. What was supposed to be a feel-good interview had just turned into live TV history. The moment Mark Wahlberg disappeared behind the curtain, the View studio was left in stunned silence. Whoopi Goldberg quickly leaned toward the camera with the calm of someone who'd been through dozens of live TV meltdowns. "Well, we'll be right back after this break," she said smoothly, though her eyes said, "What the hell just happened?" As the theme music played and the screen faded to commercial, the stage erupted into controlled chaos. Producers rushed in with earpieces crackling. Joy Behar stood still, arms folded, fuming. Her microphone was still on, and she didn't realize it as she muttered, "Thin skin for someone preaching redemption." Backstage, Mark Wahlberg was already walking at a brisk pace toward the exit. His publicist trailed behind him, trying to talk him down. "Mark, just wait, we can spin this. Let's get ahead of the narrative." Mark turned, face still flushed. "No, I went on that show in good faith. I was polite, I was honest, and she went after me like I was pushing a political agenda." Meanwhile, in the control room, producers debated whether to edit the segment for the later broadcast. But it was too late. Clips were already hitting social media. Someone from the live audience had recorded the entire confrontation from their phone, and it was going viral. Within 30 minutes, Twitter was on fire. Hashtag Mark vs Joy, hashtag Wahlberg walkout, hashtag The View meltdown, Hashtag Faith Clash Live. Opinions were deeply divided. Conservative commentators praised Wahlberg for standing up for his beliefs. This is what standing your ground with grace looks like, one tweet read. Wahlberg handled Behar's smugness with more patience than I would've. Progressives, however, had a different take. So now it's brave to walk off a women-led show because someone asked you questions. Please, one critic posted. The View's official Twitter account posted a vague, damage-controlled statement just after noon. Greater than, today's episode featured passionate conversation and differing viewpoints. We thank Mark Wahlberg for joining us and wish him success with his new film. But it was Joy's reaction on the next day's show that truly reignited the storm. She opened with a sly grin and a rehearsed line, "Well, it looks like I scared off Marky Mark. Maybe he preferred the funky bunch to a bunch of women with opinions." The crowd laughed, but it didn't ease the tension. Sunny Hostin looked visibly uncomfortable, and Sarah Haynes chose not to weigh in. Whoopi, sipping her coffee, didn't even look up. Later that day, Wahlberg appeared via Zoom on a conservative talk show. He was calmer now, measured in tone. "I've got no problem with tough questions," he said. "But there's a difference between challenging ideas and mocking them. If Joy wanted a debate, we could have had one. But what happened on that stage wasn't a debate, it was a setup." His comments only added fuel to the fire. News networks, YouTube commentators, and TikTok creators dissected the segment frame by frame. Every eye roll, smirk, and inflection became meme fodder. ABC executives reportedly held emergency meetings behind closed doors. One insider told Page 6 that the network was worried about alienating its more moderate and faith-based viewers. The clip made Joy look combative and dismissive, people noticed. Meanwhile, Redeemed Ground was suddenly the hottest topic in entertainment. Streaming platforms reported a surge in pre-orders and views on the trailer. Wahlberg's team leaned into the moment, releasing a statement the next day. Greater than, Mark Wahlberg stands by his values and is proud of the message behind Redeemed Ground. Everyone has the right to their beliefs, and he will never apologize for his. Back at The View, tensions lingered. Behind-the-scenes whispers hinted at stricter guest prep and more oversight of hot-button segments. Joy remained unapologetic, but a little more restrained. In Mark, he kept his distance, but the moment, his storm off, his unwavering calm, had cemented something unexpected. He wasn't just the guy from Transformers anymore. He was the man who walked off The View, and turned a faith-based film into a national conversation.